This idea of exploration is, I find it really empowering. It's very, it's one that can change when we change our perspective of challenges in life, or difficulties into how do I be curious about this? How do I explore this? What's the ins and outs of this? It ends up changing our relationship to it. Right? You can't be curious about something in a disempowered way. Right? You ever just, I don't know, just find something that just sounds funny to you, like you repeat a word over and over, like the word soft. You just say soft, soft, and you say it like 10 or 15 times, and you feel how it just be like soft, soft, and you just start feeling it differently. Totally sober, by the way, but doing this, and all of a sudden it turns into a little more exploration. I always used to do that with the word choice. Right? Choice, like the OI would always make it interesting for me, and it ends up being a fun thing. It's an exploration, and if you think back to really who we are at our core, we are beings of exploration. We want to learn, we want to grow, we want to experience. That's who we are at our purest form, right? That's who we were as kids before all of life started to happen to us, and we decided that we had to be serious and grow up and and be an adult and all that stuff. And there's a story about John Lennon when he was in school, and the teacher asked him, like, the class assignment was, what do you want to be when you grow up? So he wrote down, I want to be happy. So the teacher said, no, you don't understand the question. And he said, no, you don't understand the question. It's how can you explore? How can you be creative? How can you be curious about something? There's that side of us that is always there, and I feel as we age, it tends to get more dormant as we age, as we become more functioning members of society. Yet it's there, and in that it ends up changing. It ends up bringing back the majesty of life. Like, how do I be curious? How do I be curious? And that's one of the things that mindfulness brings. So when I have taught mindfulness day long in the past, one of the things I do is we have a mindful eating, and in that is we're all eating lunch together, whatever we bring, and there's no talking. There's nothing happening except all we're doing is eating. And the rules are that you're not allowed to take your next bite of food until you've completely chewed and swallowed the bite that you currently have. So a meal that might take 10 minutes ends up taking 15 or 20. But what happens is all of a sudden these layers of flavor come out in the food. Whenever I sit and do it, I'm like, oh my goodness, I can actually tell the difference between Asiago and Parmesan cheese. And I'm not like a big foodie, but like, that's really, look at that. I can see how this accents this, as opposed to like the very blatant, very loud flavors where in my normal day-to-day life, I tend to gravitate towards, because I'm not being mindful when I eat. I'm not curious about it. But when I actually pause and bring some exploration to what are the sensations in this, how does this start to unfold, all of a sudden it turns into a joyous activity, as opposed to something that I have to do, or, okay, what am I supposed to do this moment? It's just to like, how do I explore this? How do I have some fun with this? And it can be really simple, like saying the word soft or choice or eating or going for a walk. How is your foot hitting the pavement? Are you a toe striker, a heel striker? Do you have a little bit on the outside of your foot, the inside of the foot? Is there more pressure on one side than the other? And it's not about like having a list of questions like a reporter and be like, okay, this and this and this. It's about a natural exploration. You ask a question, like you get an answer, like, well, what about this, this, or this? And well, what about in that situation? And it ends up becoming fun. And this is a way that we can turn like some really simple, mundane things in life into a lot of fun. We just turn it into an exploration. Another thing that I do in this class, and apparently I'm going to be teaching this class again soon because I keep talking about it, is we make a list of things that are mundane activities in life that we do every day. Getting dressed, showering, brushing teeth, chopping vegetables, going for a walk, whatever it is. And then how do you do these things with more mindfulness? Picking one or two of them and say, I'm going to take this thing and bring some more mindfulness to it. So that when I'm getting dressed, that's the only thing I'm doing. I'm not thinking about what am I doing later in the day, and just like that's all I'm focused on. When I'm brushing my teeth, that's all that I'm doing. And it ends up taking these things that we just kind of do by rote into something, and it's like, oh, adds layers of dimension to it that we may not have thought about otherwise. So I will invite you to do that. Right? There's an opportunity even in obstacles in life, in challenges or difficulties, to say like, all right, how can I be curious about this? How can I explore this? Instead, it takes it away from being like, oh, I'm a victim of this annoying, crappy thing that's happening outside of me, into something that's like, okay, how do I explore this? What are the ins and outs of this? How do I work with this? What are the dimensions? What's this person really saying when they say this? How do I get to the other side of this? It adds such a vibrancy to life. So I will invite you to explore yourself, explore your life, explore your activities as you're going about it. It's easy to fall back into the roteness of life. And so this takes a little bit of conditioning for us to break that habit. But I will invite you to make that a habit. Say, how do I, particularly when you're feeling mundane and it's a gray day that we have in New England pretty frequently, how do you turn this into something that's more exciting? It's exploratory. So in our meditation practice here on Tuesday nights, I'm going to be adding some more exploration into it. I'm going to be moving a little bit away from just this straight mindfulness that we've been doing, and seeing how can we explore meditation's other dimensions. I think it adds a richness of dimension to the work that we do here. So I invite you to see what that means, because I'm not exactly sure what that means. I'm going to be exploring it just as you. I'll be seeing what comes out of my mouth. But I think there's a lot to it. So thank you so much for stepping into your own exploration tonight, and have yourselves a pleasant night.
Thank you.